All right, we're live. Yay. I'm so excited that you've come to check out my live lettering workshop. Welcome to RoseRock Collective, and we're so glad you're here tonight. Um, I have been wanting to start a lettering business for quite some time, and I just got everything ready. I've reached a phase in my life where I have some time that I get to invest in my business. So I'm glad that you're on this journey with me. I hope that you enjoy tonight. I hope that we get a lot of awesome things, um, that you learn a lot of awesome things out of this. And what's really awesome is this is live. So, like, I'm probably going to mess up and I'm probably not going to do things perfectly, but I'm going to learn and I want you to learn as well. Because I just posted on my Instagram live that lettering is really a community of hand letters all across the nation, all across the world, who partner together to make amazing crafts, but they also make amazing things happen. And so I'm so excited that you're a part of this journey with me. So I checking to make sure everything sounds okay. And here we go. So, what's really cool about this online live lettering course is that if you're not able to make it live, it will stay on YouTube and you'll be able to watch it back and you will be able to see what's going on and learn. If you caught something that was really important and you miss it, you can go back and watch it later. And I want you to know that I'm always available to chat, meet up with you, and do further lettering courses. But what's really nice is that I get to do this one for free. Um, a few fun facts about me is that I have always loved lettering. And in elementary, I would get the line sheet of paper and I would make sure that I had some at home and I would go over the line sheet of paper and I would write all the time. And I wanted to make my name look perfect. My name is really hard to spell in cursive, really hard to like. I'm not good at K's. I will admit that K's are not my specialty. And so I have a lot of hard time doing the letter K. So I wanted to make it look perfect. And so I spent a lot of time practicing drawing. My grandma had beautiful penmanship and I wanted to emulate hers. And so I practiced as much as I could. And I even in middle school would practice writing my friends' names like all the time. And I really probably seemed like a stalker. I wasn't a stalker. I just wanted to practice the flow of letters through each person's name and how to make it look more beautiful. And I remember getting my first set of pilot pens. I was so excited and I used my pilot pen to create beautiful lettering with like little dots at the ends of each letter and wanted to make it beautiful. So I love lettering. I always have. I started lettering as an afterthought. Around 9 years ago, my friend went to England and brought me back an inkwell and a quill. I had never hand lettered before. I had never done anything fun like that. And so when she brought it back, I let it sit on the bookshelf for the longest time. And I finally decided one day to get it out, test it out. And it was a real nib quill calligraphy pen from England and ink from England. And I started lettering and I loved it. I loved making things look elegant and pretty. And so I began learning a little bit more. I started with a nib, which is really hard, with a metal nib, which is really hard if you're brush lettering or wanting to make something pretty because it has no bend and it's not very flexible. And so I backed up and started using Sharpies and just like learning, watching videos, practicing myself, practicing my cursive. And then I'm still not a pro at brush lettering, but I thought, hey, I'm going to take the opportunity to create a place where we can come together, write, hang out, and just learn how to make the jump from pretty cursive to hand lettering to brush lettering and eventually calligraphy. And so I hope that you can take that jump with me tonight. I'm sure that many people who are watching are on different levels of their creative path. You could be on the path of creativity where you're like far more knowledgeable than me. You could be just learning how to write cursive. I had a teenager tell me that they would be joining because they wanted to write better and write more pretty. And that's great. You might be in the middle where you're like really good at cursive, but you're not sure how to make the jump from cursive to calligraphy. So let's just dive in. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to leave me a comment and I will be checking back and forth to check everything out to make sure if you have a question or comment, I would be happy to answer that live while we're going today. But if you'll give me a second, I'm going to jump off Instagram Live because if they want to watch me, they can come to YouTube and watch me here. So I'm going to get off Instagram Live. Thanks for joining. Come check us out. Okay, so I am so excited. So the way this will work, occasionally you'll see my face, but other times you're going to see my workspace where I'm going to be working. And in the notes, the show notes below this video, you're going to see, you're actually going to be able to see my links to where I got my worksheets, where I got everything that I'm going to be showing you. And then I'll verbally tell you where I got the pens and the different types of pens, just so that you're aware of what you can do to do calligraphy. So I want to start off and tell you my tools, my favorite tools that I like to use when I'm doing any kind of hand lettering. And they vary depending on the day. A Pilot G2 pen is beautiful for what I'm going to show you tonight. That glides really soft. It's got a rollerball ink. It's really good. I have my favorite cactus pen from Target in the dollar aisle. This is beautiful. It has really good ink flow and it doesn't break up. And I like cactuses or succulents, if you can see behind me. So I'm going to be using that tonight. I really like the Crayola Super Tip markers. They're really good to help you do the thin and thick lines. So I'm going to be using that tonight as well. I went last night and made sure I had oh my gosh, I have a hard time saying this one. Fudenosuke pens. They're beautiful, they write well, and they're very important to make your good crisp lines. You can buy them at Hobby Lobby for like $7, and they come in a 2-pack. One with the soft pen or soft nib, and one for like a more sturdy nib. You can tell this one's blue. The soft nib is more black. The last thing that I like to use is the Tombow dual brush pen. And so on one end, it's a really fine tip, which is great if you're just doing writing or cursive. But if you get into calligraphy, the strokes, it's got a soft tip. And you can really just bend this. And it's okay. It bounces back. And you can blend it. So if you had multiple colors, you could blend it. I really like the multiple colors that you can get. I have this set that I got from Hobby Lobby of the brush pen. It's just your normal basic colors. Has brown, your great cool colors and your warm colors, and a blending tool. So if you get into blending, which is a little bit more advanced, you can do that as well. So what I'm so excited about is that Tombow, I heard today, I got an email today from one of my lettering inspirational women, is that these hard tip pens, which are my favorite, are going to be available in color this weekend or Monday. On October 1st, we're going to be able to get these in all colors. So I'm really excited about that. So, all right, those are the tools I use. I love to use, the best paper to use when you're using these nicer pens is 24-pound paper. You can buy that at Office Depot. If you're going to print anything on your own, which I did today, I just picked up my paper from Office Depot, ran it through my printer so I could have the lines. If you do anything else, like just regular copy paper from Walmart or regular copy paper from Target, your brush pens will fray. And that's one thing I learned the hard way. I have a lot of brush pens that began to lose their color, to not be as smooth as I would have liked them to. And it's because I used them on the wrong paper. So paper counts, paper matters. So why am I doing this lettering class? I want you to be able to letter the best that you can. I want you to make beautiful things. And if you need more help going one-on-one, I would love to meet with you and help you out. So I am so excited that you're here. So I can see that some of my students, another fun fact, I'm a teacher, so I teach at a charter school in Oklahoma. So my students are watching, so that's kind of exciting. Anyway, so I am going to switch over to my side view camera. You're still going to be able to hear me, but you're not going to be able to see me. You'll just be able to see my hands. And I'm going to show you how to start lettering. All right. Okay. So I kind of got started on some warm-ups. My favorite thing to do is just kind of get familiar with the pen or the utensil that I'm using. Here is a Papermate pen. I like to use this. This is fun to use for lettering. So to warm up, I like to just start with straight lines. Just to get everything warm up, I want to go up. Every time you go up, you want to make sure that every line that you do is up is thin, and every line that you do down is heavier and thick. We want to do thick lines down. So this is just a regular Papermate felt tip pen. If I'm going to use my brush lettering pen, I'm going to do thin lines up. And I'm going to do thick lines down. Can you see the difference? There's a big importance to this because as you can see up here, if I go up, my line's thin, and as I come back down, I'm doing a thick line. And RoseRock, I'm going up, down, thick. Everything that we do, if we're going to do calligraphy, we wanted to do a downstroke thin. Anytime you're bringing the pen down toward you, and if you're pushing the pen away, then you're wanting to do a thin line to create a really clear, really crisp look in your lettering. Another nice warm-up to do is a V, where you do heavy down, light up, heavy down, light up. And I'm pushing hard down, and then I'm lifting the pen to the tip as I come up. And then light up, and then heavy down. The reason for this is every time I'm going up, I want my stroke to be light. And every time I go down, I want my stroke to be heavy when I go down to create that look of calligraphy. I do want to explain why I'm using this paper. This looks like paper that you would give someone learning to write for the first time because it has the basic height and width that you need to begin your practice with. So this is considered your X height. So every letter, like A, E, I, O, and U is going to meet that X height. This is your baseline. Everything that's between here and your X height is going to be a normal letter. This is your ascender. And anything that goes up, like a D, is going to go to this line. Okay. Anything that goes to the D is going to go all the way up. And then if you're going to do a Y, it's going to go below. That's a descender. Okay, and the reason why I'm giving you this language is a very important language to get you started with writing. To get you started writing and to get you clear with what you are doing with your lettering. Okay, so the difference between handwriting and hand lettering is very different. Handwriting, you're just going to write with your pencil. So handwriting, you're going to start with, if you are doing cursive, let me get a new sheet of paper. All right. So handwriting, you're just writing with your hand. You're just writing normal. If you would like to just do cursive, basically you're just dragging, when you write cursive, you're dragging your marker along and using your fingers to create your letters. If you want to do faux calligraphy, you can still use these basic links of your spaces, but then you can add these drop down lines. Anytime where you would have taken your pen down, and you just add a thin line, a thicker line, and fill that in. It looks like you're doing calligraphy. It's called faux calligraphy, even if you aren't doing real calligraphy. So you're just making it look like you have done calligraphy, but you really haven't. I like to do the little flourishes. So it looks like I got a little carried away with my letters there. So I told you I'd mess up. But you can see that when I'm writing, I'm just writing out my letters and I'm just filling it in. If I try my cactus pen, you're going to see the same thing. Handwriting. And then I can fill it in, create that heavier indentation, that downstroke, and it looks like I've done calligraphy, but I've actually just done beautiful handwriting. And I've added a downstroke to thicken it up. And I have created some handwriting. So handwriting is awesome because you're able to see your basic writing come to life when you add these extra embellishments on your work. There is a big difference between handwriting and blush lettering, and that's kind of what I wanted to show you today. And so this basic course is just taking you. You can do hand lettering. You can use this brush tip pen to do it, and it makes it really easy. Sometimes you have to space your letters out. When I first started writing in cursive, I wrote really thin. And it's really hard to take a word like this and to add layers to it without it really losing or running together with the letters around it. So I had to learn to space my letters out. So if you're looking for this for an easy way to grow your penmanship, this isn't going to be the best. So what you need to do is you need to focus on spacing out your letters. So I had to learn how to space out my letters so I can add this faux calligraphy embellishment on my envelopes, on my invitations, anything that I'm doing. I needed to be able to add this spacing. Sorry, my hand was in the way. The spacing to get a better view of the words. So, there's a huge difference in using this technique with just your end of your pen, pencil, marker, and using brush lettering. I said there was one more thing I wanted to show you, and I accidentally dropped it. So I'm going to take a different one. That's the Crayola. It's the Super Tip Crayola. It's just like a marker. It is a marker that you can use. You can do the same effect as your hand lettering and just do thinner strokes and thick down, then up, thick down, then up. And I am just doing my best to be slow. This is not something that you can just do really fast and be able to get what you want. So if I go super fast, okay, obviously I'm shaking the thing. If I go super fast, I'm rushing my work and it's not going to come out the way that you intend. You want to make sure that you're going slow to get the technique, the clear, precise line. So light up, heavy down, heavy down. I should have went up a little lighter. And so I can even thicken these up a little bit if I want to. But I'm giving that impression and taking the time to craft my art. I want this to look really good. I never want, you never want your work to look like you just slopped it down, especially if you are taking the time to learn your craft. So make sure that you're not running too fast, so that you're taking the time to easily and quickly but neatly write. I tell students all the time, like, don't be in a rush, but do something nice to get your things completed. And it's not that I don't want it's not that I don't want good work. I want great work, but I also know that great work means that a lot of time has to take place. And so I'm just looking at all these awesome, awesome comments on my page. So I've got like, hi, Kim, and all my students that are watching. So thanks for showing up. And thanks, Edsel, for subscribing to my channel. This is awesome. You're great. So, okay, back at it. So, let's go look at some of the things that I found online, and I'm going to show you a few more tips and tricks on this lettering course. So, I found this really great brush lettering guide that takes you through different letters. So, I'm going to show you that, and I think this will help you. And it is definitely okay to use something that somebody else created and to practice. And it's definitely okay to do some lettering practices, tracing what someone else has done. So I'm going to use a blue pen because I'm feeling like blue is going to rock it. So you can tell that she has set up this practice sheet with your heavy down strokes. This is getting into brush lettering. You're going to use... what's really neat is that the Tombow pen has created a place for you to hold your pen. And you can actually just go down like this, thin strokes up. You just trace what they've done, thin up. Also, you have your upside down U's, thin up, thick down, thin up, thick down. These are just great warm-ups so that whenever you do start writing your letters, every time you sit down with a brush pen, these are great warm-ups to do to get you started. Double letters, the flourishes for V coming out of another letter. And then you have your lettering guides. So using a brush pen, you can actually take these and trace it. You can kind of see the faint traces, and then it has space for you to do it for free. So I'm going to do A, and I'm going to start at the top. I want to make a circle. And then I'm going to come down and lift up. Make a circle, come down. So when I come down, I'm going thick, letting go, and coming down with a heavy hand again. So wide up, heavy down. And then with my B, as you can see, this is going up, this is going down. Up again, this way, and down. So I'm going to show you this. Down, whip around, down, and back up. Okay, the B is for Barbara. So you've got B right here, B there. So, and if you want to practice doing your actual words, brush lettering is a series of strokes. That's what's different from brush lettering to hand lettering. It's a series of strokes. So you're going to do a stroke for your ascending. You're going to do your circle. B. And then you have your name, Barbara. So brush lettering is taking thin strokes, not ever just doing your pencil where it's like at a 90-degree angle. You want to hold it at a 45-degree angle. You want to use the edge of the pen, except for when you're going down, and you want to go hard when you go down. So you're going light back down. You can find where I printed this on the notes below the show. You could print out your own copy, do it at your own pace. What's really great is that this is set up to give you plenty of practice space, and it takes you through every single letter of the alphabet. It doesn't leave anything out. It has some neat, interesting S's. I prefer to do my S's more straight, and they're preferring to do theirs more slanted. But really, it's just muscle memory. Taking your pen, if you're going to do brush lettering. This is really advanced. So if you're interested in doing an advanced course, I'm going to be offering one sometime in October on Facebook or YouTube. I haven't decided yet, but there are many awesome people, especially if you live in Oklahoma City area, who offer a brush lettering course. But the basics I wanted you to take away tonight are to be able to use that Fudenosuke pen or regular pen to create a calligraphy effect. And that's where you're just going to, on your paper, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my comments and it's just crazy. On your paper, you're going to use just your regular pen, writing utensil, and create that heavy look of writing. So I'm going to flip back over and just remind you one more time that cursive, let's switch to one of these practice sheets, is a series of just practicing spacing out your letters. So you want to practice spacing out your letters and then adding this embellishment. If you want to do fake calligraphy, practicing the spacing so that you can have the room to do this fake, this embellishment. So I have a few requests to do some shout outs. So I'm going to do some shout outs on my papers and practicing some hand lettering. So this is just some practice spacing. You want to make sure that you leave all your letters pretty far apart. You don't want to put your letters too close together. I've seen some writing where it's very close together and it's hard to actually see what you're writing. So if you space out, even if you're doing print, just like I'm doing right now, you can space it out some. You can make this thicker. Just adding an effect of calligraphy. You can, if you have any uneven lines, you can do some lines like that just to create a clear and even area. You can even, trying to find a good utensil I haven't tried yet. You can even use, like I said, these markers. And look, even if that's a light stroke, and I'm just going to do all light strokes, I can go back through and I can add weight to these lines where I actually went down with my pen the first time. And it doesn't matter if you do it on the inside of the line, like to the left or to the right, or just on top of whatever you have made space for. Whatever you have made space for, that is actually going to be what helps your work. So I'm just going to look at who is subscribed. Might do a one more name lettering, and then we're going to get off here. So let's see who else subscribed to the list. So all right, so I've got a few more names I'm going to try out. So I've got all right, so a few more names to try out. I'm going to use Soup Tips pen to do another name. Do you see how I didn't go thick on this? I didn't go thick on this so I could do my downstrokes with a thicker embellishment. So and then I have one more person to do And I'm going to use this slanted line paper. This is great just to be able to give you some guides to do. And I'm going to use the Sharpie pen. So to shout out. This is really thin. So what's nice about this, you'll be able to really see the effect that can be made when you add the downstroke. And you could actually, this looks really nice leaving it without filling it in. It looks really nice. But if you want to fill it in, you can just fill it in. You can also fill it in with zigzags, polka dots, whatever makes you happy. Let's see here. So if you want to know the biggest difference that I want you to take away is that cursive, you drag the pen, and in hand lettering, you do a stroke, move your hand, do a stroke, move your hand. So in cursive, I can just say this. That's me doing cursive. I'm using my hand and I'm dragging it. If I'm doing it in strokes, I'm gonna see it like that. If I continue to do it in strokes, I'm gonna do one last thing, and I'm just gonna show you different strokes in different colors so you can see each stroke has a different unique color. I'm just gonna get them all out and lay on the table, and this will be like my last example of the night. So let's start with red. So one stroke, just one stroke right there. You can tell that one's frayed a little bit. It made a little bit more of a frayed end. So I'm just going to do one more stroke. So each stroke is getting a different letter because it's a different movement, and I'm pushing my hand each time. There you go. So each letter is showing a different stroke. So the biggest difference between brush lettering, hand lettering, is the stroke. And you can see that this is more slanted and these are more parallel. Each line is more parallel than these lines. These are more slanted because we all kind of learned the lazy way to write in cursive. I always was taught to turn my paper, but actually proper cursive, you leave your paper the same and you slant your hand. So proper cursive would have been a little bit more slant than we were used to. So, okay, so I hope this helps you become a better hand letterer. I know that it wasn't super deep, but I showed a few different techniques to allow you to do a better job at just your own hand lettering. If you would like to learn more about hand lettering, I'd be happy to reach out to you and help you go do a Google Hangout. We can go live and look at your work, and I can give you some tips. We can have a meeting one-on-one, or we can have a live class where we go deeper into brush lettering, which I'm still learning. There's plenty of people who offer great classes. If you're in Oklahoma City, Lindsay Eidson from LA Calligraphy does a great brush lettering workshop, which would be phenomenal for you to partake in, and you can find her on the social medias at LA Calligraphy. So thanks so much for checking out my first ever live video, and I hope that you learned a lot. Leave a comment in this space below if there's room left, or feel free to email me at RoseRockCollective@gmail.com. So thanks again. I hope that you have a great night, and I'll see you next time.